Good morning, Year 6, and welcome to Tuesday's English lesson. And what we're going to do is build on the writing you started yesterday, all about our fictional suspense narrative, all about Brindley Heath. So, just to recap what we've been doing through this week, we're going to write our fictional suspense narrative all about Brindley Heath. You and a friend have returned to school in the half-term holidays, but everything's a little bit different and a little bit eerie. And yesterday's lesson, that's where it says Monday, yesterday's lesson was all about returning to school and describing the setting as you get to school. So describing the car park, the building, everything you can see, and that sort of that sense that it's a little bit strange, a little bit eerie, something's not quite right. Today's lesson, Tuesday, is going to be about moving into the school, describing your emotions, perhaps entering the building, entering the hall, etc., and describing the scene. Not into the classrooms just yet, though. Tomorrow will be some dialogue and conversation between you and your friends, and then Thursday we'll do our ending. Just before we start our lesson, what I'd like you to do day by day is I want you to publish day by day as you go along. So the way I would do it is have a go at drafting out your writing and then publishing it, writing it up in best as you go along. I'm just going to show you one I was sent yesterday on a chat message for one of the children in 6M. That's what they did yesterday. So day one, describing the setting, and they've done their own little bit of publishing as well. So they've had a go and then written it out in best. And this is describing the setting as you get to Brindley Heath. And as you can see, it's published how they want to publish it. They've drawn the spooky at the top, and this child's is looking. They've got a printer, so they've actually printed those out and cut them. But again, you could just draw things like that. So you publish it as you want, and my suggestion is you do it as you're going along. The other alternative is you could publish it all at the end, but remember we've only got 4 days to do this. Okay, so day 2. Describe moving into the building now. So we've described the outside, now we're going to move into the building. So we could write about the entranceway, the library area, and the hall. And I've just been into and took pictures of the entranceway, so the reception area, the library area, and the hall. But what I want you to do is imagine that you're walking into these areas, but everything's been made really creepy and eerie. So although I've made them black and white there to make them a little bit creepy, everything looks okay at the minute, and that's not what we want it to look like when we describe it in our story. The idea is that the school is abandoned, it's derelict, and it's very, very creepy and strange. So what sort of things could we write about to make the place seem creepy? What can we see? Okay. For example, to give you an idea, it might be that perhaps all the books have been knocked off the shelves. Or another idea is that maybe there's lots of cobwebs everywhere. So I want you to pause the video and have a think about all the different things that you could describe and talk about that might have happened to this building to make it seem very strange and creepy. Pause the video and then I'll go through some answers afterwards. Okay, hopefully you've had a go at that. All right, so the first thing we want to do is we want to make this entranceway, this library, and this hall, as we walk into it, when we describe it, we want it to seem a little bit strange and creepy. So I gave you a couple of ideas before you had a go, but these are sort of things that I came up with. Well, we could have cobwebs in the corner, so imagine that it's covered in cobwebs. Imagine there's dust and there's debris everywhere, or there's litter all over the floor. Imagine all the chairs have been knocked over, so that chair, maybe it's on the side. Books thrown off the shelves. I think as well, to make it very creepy and like make it look old, like maybe the walls started decaying and crumbling, and you could picture maybe the paint falling off the walls. I think this is a really good way of making it spooky. A light flickering on and off, so maybe the light in the entranceway or the library is just flickering on and off here and there. The idea, which it is in these pictures, the idea that there's nobody there, that it's abandoned, that makes it quite eerie. Perhaps some of the carpet's been pulled up, and perhaps some of the displays have been ripped to pieces, or pictures are falling off the walls. And then also, I just put at the bottom here, like noises. Well, part of the creepiness of it will be an eerie silence. You can't hear a sound. Or you can add in these little noises, dripping sounds, creaking sounds, a strange thud, the wind howling and hissing through the ceiling. All of those elements are going to make this part of our story, as we go into these parts of the building, very creepy and strange. Okay. Now, a bit like yesterday, what the idea is that you're going to write the next part of your story. So Tuesday's task is this: moving into the school, perhaps describing the entranceway or the library area and this assembly hall. The idea is the school is now decrepit, dilapidated, and run down. There is something strange, spooky, and mysterious about it. Something is not quite right. As I've done with all the other days, what I've done is put a sheet together which has the scaffold on there for support if you need it, a bit of a structure. It's got some of the key vocabulary we can use. It's got pictures. It's got the key success and the stretch. I'm going to come on to that in a minute. Please use that as much as you want to, because that will help you with all your ideas. So this is that scaffold sheet, and what we've got here is got the task at the top, and then we've got some of the vocabulary from last week that we used, like synonyms for old, synonyms for scary. I've put in here some of those ideas for things you can write about in your description as you move into these areas. Here it says this: it says, yesterday you will have described the building as you arrive and you're shocked at what you've seen. Now you're going to make your way into the school and make your way slowly through the entranceway, library and hall. This is important, don't go into year 6 yet. We'll save that for the ending, so we'll save that for Wednesday and Thursday. We can use the waggle from last week as a scaffold if we want to, but you may want to add in more details of what you can see as you move through the school. Basically yours will be much better. So this is the waggle example from last week that we looked at, and this shows you, this was to do with varying sentence lengths. It's quite good and we can use this structure, but it hasn't got a great deal of description in it, so I think when we do our one today, yours will be much better than this, but at least it does give you a bit of an idea. Okay, and you can follow some of those ideas through. Obviously we've got the pictures on there of the school as it is, but remember we want to make it very creepy and eerie. And then we've got the keys to success at the bottom. So varied sentence types, one word, short and multi-clause sentences, mixing them up, those skills we looked at last week. Describe what you can see, give clues as to how scared you and your friend are. That could be things such as you could see that she's shivering, your friend, or he, whoever it is. Make it very slow movements through the school, don't rush this. And if you want to, you can use the waggle scaffolds, which is this bit here. So if you want a structure for how to create it, there's a bit of a waggle scaffold for you. In terms of stretch, very high quality description, adventurous vocabulary choices, perhaps adding lots of mysterious sounds and noises similar to those in room 13. Perhaps a noise comes through the speaker. I've just thought of that off the top of my head. Adventurous punctuation, semicolons, dashes, brackets, ellipses, exclamation marks, question marks, and perhaps a little bit of speech. But remember, on Wednesday, tomorrow, we're going to put in quite a big piece of dialogue, so don't feel you've got to put in lots of speech. Okay, and when you're using that punctuation, it's using it accurately and for a reason. Right. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, children, before I finish the video, is I'm going to just give you an example of how I might start to write this myself, and you can perhaps use some of these ideas for when you write your own one. So what I've pulled together for myself is some of the vocabulary, because I like that, and some of the ideas for things I can write about as I move into the school. And I've also got the waggle from last week loaded up, just if it gives me some ideas, because I might use that a little bit as well. So I'm just looking at the waggle. It says, petrified, I took a tiny step forward, wincing as the floorboards beneath me creaked. It was almost as if they were screeching at me, warning me to go away, to head back home. Now you need to think about where you left it yesterday. Did you leave it that you actually moved into the building? Have you opened the front door? Are you already there, or have you not made your way in yet? I'm going to pretend that I haven't quite made my way in yet. So I'm going to use this structure because it helps me. Feeling terrified, comma, I'm slowly made my way towards the entrance hall. I've got some idea. Winston is there's no floorboards underneath me. I'm going to ignore that bit. I'll use the semicolon. Semicolon. Feeling terrified, I slowly made my way towards the entrance hall. Semicolon. My heart was beating 10 to the dozen inside my chest. And then here I notice it says Fiona, my best friend. So I'm going to my best friend, Nicola. Oh, you know, best friend Nicola was close by my side. Dash. I could sense her panic also. Okay. Right. Now, I'm going to leave, I'm looking at the scaffold, but I'm going to move away from the scaffold this week. I know what I'm trying to do, and I've got my ideas. And the scaffold just gives me some ideas, but I'm not going to use it because it says here, I could hear her breathing heavily. I could hear her teeth chattering. I actually really like that, but I might use something like that later on. Instead, I'm going to think about moving into this entranceway. Okay? Being terrified, I slowly made my way towards the entrance hall. My heart was beating 10 to the dozen inside my chest. My best friend, Nicola, was close by my side. I could sense her panic also. Slowly. Actually, not slowly. I've already used slowly. It's fine synonym. Not slowly. Cautiously, comma. We opened the front door. Dash. It creaked. Mysteriously, as it did so, sending a shiver down my spine. The hallway. No, I'm going to call it the reception area. The reception area was completely derelict. Semicolon. There was nothing to be seen. Where was Mrs. James? I wondered to myself. Okay, so I'm thinking, where was Mrs. James? Right, I'm going to read that back. Feeling terrified, I slowly made my way towards the entrance hall. My heart was beating 10 to the dozen inside my chest. My best friend Nicola was close by my side. I could sense her panic also. Cautiously, we opened the front door. It creaked mysteriously as it did so, sending a shiver down my spine. Now, I've just read that back. The reception area is completely derelict. I'm going to use a sentence opener. To my disbelief, comma, the reception area was completely derelict. There was nothing to be seen. Where was Mrs. James? I wondered to myself. Nervously, comma, we made our way through the reception area and into the library, into the school library, comma, but everything had changed. Now here, I'm going to look back up here to what we talked about earlier. What can I write about to say that everything's changed? Well, I'm going to talk about some cobwebs. Actually, I'm going to put a little bit of dialogue in. Oh my word. Look at that. Shrieked Nicola, pointing towards the ceiling. Full stop. Up above, the roof had been engulfed by cobwebs. It was a terrifying sight. Now I'm going to do a little bit more description of something else. What else can I talk about? Oh, the library books. Ahead of us, further ahead, in the library corner, further ahead, I could just about make out the library area, but the books had been thrown everywhere. Dash, there wasn't a book on the shelf. I'm going to put another bit of time. What's happened here? I muttered to myself. Now I've got an idea. So I've done a little bit of description of what I can see, and now I'm thinking back to my scaffold. And it's this bit here. I could hear a breathing. I quite like this. I'm going to talk about my friend again. I could... no, I'm going to start with the sentence for that. Nicola was clearly... I want to use the word terrified, but I want to use a synonym for terrified. Clearly alarmed. Was clearly alarmed. I could hear her teeth chattering together. I could sense the panic in her bones. I could feel the nervousness engulfing her whole body. Now again, I think I've been using the word engulfing too much. I'm going to look for this one. Consuming her whole body. Let me just read that back. Nicola was clearly alarmed. I could hear her teeth chattering together. I could sense the panic in her bones. I could feel the nervousness consuming her. Now I might say something. Relax, breathe, calm down. It's going to be okay, I said to her, trying to put her at ease. Now, that's only me. I'm going to stop there so you can navigate yourself. That's just me starting out. So the idea of this task was to move into the school and begin to describe what I can see and move slowly through the entranceway and the hall and the library area and into the hall. That's what I've come up with so far. So what I would do is I'd read that back and I would check it against that success criteria, those keys to success, to see how I think I'm doing. And let's read it all as one. So it says, feeling terrified, I slowly made my way towards the entrance hall. My heart was beating 10 to the dozen inside my chest. My best friend, Nicola, was close by my side. I could sense her panic also. Cautiously we opened the front door. It creaked mysteriously, it did so, sending a shiver down my spine. To my disbelief, the reception area was completely derelict. There was nothing to be seen. Where was Mrs. James, I wondered to myself. Nervously, we made our way through the reception area and into the school library. But everything had changed, and here I've put in a little bit of dialogue. Oh my word, look at that, shrieked Nicola, pointing towards the ceiling. Up above, the roof had been engulfed by cobwebs. It was a terrifying sight. Further ahead, I could just about make out the library area, but the books had been thrown everywhere. There wasn't a book on the shelf. What's happened here? I muttered to myself. Nicola was clearly alarmed. I could hear her teeth chattering together. I could sense the panic in her bones. I could feel the nervousness consuming her whole body. Relax, breathe, calm down. It's going to be okay, I said to her, trying to put her at ease. And that's just a start to it. There's lots more I could write about in terms of things I hear, lots more description. I haven't even made my way into the hallway yet. And I keep moving along like that. Please keep checking against your success keys. Keep having to think about the stretch as well. I did elements of the stretch. I did use some advanced punctuation. I haven't done any mysterious sounds or noises, and that's something I could add in as well. And remember, day by day, to publish your writing so you create that amazing final piece. If I just flick back to that version. So again, what I would do if I was this person who'd written this one is carry that on and create the next part of my story, which is day 2. After describing the outside setting, we've now moved into the school. Please, though, before you finish, don't make your way into the classroom yet. We're going to leave that for Wednesday and Thursday. Okay, children, I hope that will make sense. Please feel free to use some of my ideas, but also go for it yourself and use the scaffold sheet as much as you want to. And I'm sure that what you come up with will be a really exciting and spooky and intriguing story that just makes me want to read on and on. All right, have lots of fun. See you later. Bye.